Uh, I'm not buying it. Deion Sanders is fool's gold.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk with Darius. Thank you for joining me. Remember to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and share this channel with somebody you know will enjoy the content here. Listen, we finna check out old Jason Witten. Now, first of all, I will say this. I just like to invite y'all into my world. I like Deion Sanders, okay? I didn't say the man was perfect. I didn't say I agree with everything 100%, but I do say that I like him. I respect him and the things he's doing. Most in Colorado, I wasn't following him really when he was at Jackson State, Jackson State as head coach there. But I like what I see him building, what he's building in Colorado. Now, Jason Whitlock has been going off after this man since last year, if not longer, and he said some very damaging things. So I'm gonna play one of his latest videos about him. Then I add some of my thoughts.
I want to talk about Deion Sanders and Colorado, and everybody's celebrating. Oh my God, they blew out Arizona. Man, they're 5-2. Oh God, look at this turnaround. Deion Sanders is back. He's done it. This is incredible. I'm not buying it. Deion Sanders is fool's gold. And what Colorado is doing is fool's gold. And yes, they may win 6 or 7 or 8 games this year. They may win 9. I don't know. But it's not one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. It's not that impressive to me, given the way college football has changed.
So in other words, Jason Whitlock does not like Coach Deion Sanders' style, how he approaches the game, his coaching style. That's fine. He doesn't like the man's style as far as how he dresses and how he addresses his players. That's fine. But just because it's non-traditional does not mean it's not effective. Does not mean it's not good. Just maybe not be good in your eyes, but does not mean it's a bad thing, Jason.
This is fool's gold. This is a reflection of the transfer portal and being able to just buy up talent. You don't have to recruit talent. You don't have to develop talent. You have to buy talent. And yes, everybody's playing by those rules, and it's the same for everybody. Everybody can buy talent.
So how much did it cost to fill your tank?
Almost $100.
How much is the car payment?
$140.
And what about insurance?
Well, okay, so let's judge everybody on this new standard. Is what Deion's doing, is it as impressive as what the Zignetti's doing over at Indiana University? They're 7-0. And they just beat the brakes off of Nebraska like 56-7. Nebraska's the same team that ran the ball down Colorado's throat and beat them, I believe, 28-7. Deion and Colorado are benefiting from playing in a very suspect and weak Big 12. If you watch Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, if you watch SEC football, if you watch Big 10 football, you can see the gap between the Big 12, the SEC, and the Big 10.
You know, people like Jason can really try to, if you let them, steal your thunder because you don't do things the way they want you to, or do things the way they think you should. First of all, while comparison those other divisions, if you will, they're not playing in those other divisions, and neither has Deion Sanders or Deion stated as much. Neither has he compared himself, as far as I'm aware, to any of those other programs and stuff. Jason simply, to me, the several times I've heard him, I really started listening last year. I will say this real quick. Jason and I have some things we agree on politically speaking. But other than that, and I don't follow him. When I listen to his vitriol, that's what I call it, against Deion Sanders, and then some other people I know of who have listened to Jason, he's very negative when it comes to black players, black people. In I guess in the entertainment industry, he went after Stephen A. Smith. He goes after Shannon Sharp. All those guys. He needs these talking points. He needs to talk to big fish if he's gonna. Remember he's on somebody else's network, so part of this is simply his business. It's a business decision for him to discuss, and they probably happen to be subjects he likes to discuss. But regardless, I think his attacks on Deion Sanders is unwarranted, at least to the level. Again, if you don't like the guy's coaching style, that's your business. You don't like the way the man dresses or how he allows his players to dress, whatever, that's his business too. Before I continue my thoughts, I'm gonna let y'all finish listening to some more of the craziness Jason is spewing.
The gap is enormous. BYU is the best team in the Big 12. Not knocking them. They're undefeated, and hats off to them. They won on the last second play this weekend.
Stop. You are knocking him. You said, Darius, what do you mean? He is knocking this division, comparing them to other divisions or programs. He's knocking these teams, excuse me. So he is knocking them.
Hats off to him. But that's not what's going on in the Big 12. Isn't the same as what's going on in the Big 10 and the SEC. It's not the same as what was going on in the Pac-12 last year. When Deion and Colorado face a team with a suspect quarterback, and this fajita...
Stop it, Jason. You have to play the teams that's on your schedule. He make it sound as if Deion them is going out selecting the teams, selecting their opponents. That's not the case. When people try to listen, this should be a life lesson for each and every one of us, is that when people try to belittle your journey because you didn't go down the same path, and what your path wasn't as tough or as wide or as narrow, as big, or whatever the case may be, you tell them, listen, you have your journey to travel, I have mine to travel. I'm going to do the best I can with what I got, just like I hope you have done the best with what you got. But don't let anybody like Jason come up and try to belittle your journey or your path. Your challenges are your challenges. You have to face, you have to deal with and address what's on what's on your path. Sometimes when you deviate, you create other things, okay? You welcome those distractions. You welcome opposition, opponents, and obstacles that you didn't have to deal with. That's on you. But generally speaking, what's on your path, that's all you have to address. That's all you have to deal with. So don't let people get in your ear and try to tell you, well, you should have this and you should have that, this and that, and throw stones at you. Don't do that. Tune them out. Get away from them. They're toxic.
Or Fajita or whatever the kid's name was for Arizona is a suspect quarterback. Didn't bring you anything in the running game, didn't bring you anything in the passing game, and Deion and them took advantage. And Colorado's defense is improved. I will give them that. And Colorado's 5 wide, throw it around the field offense, it's improved. But what the biggest improvement in Colorado is their schedule and moving into the Big 12 conference. I know I sound like a hater.
You don't sound like a hater, dude. You are one. I listened to you last year. I'm going to bring it up here in a minute. You said some what I consider over the line statements or comments about Coach Prime. Again, let me add this. I am not a Deion Sanders apologist. I'm a fan. That's one of the things I enjoy. I believe some of you guys enjoy it. And I just want to introduce you out to some of the things that interest me. I appreciate you for watching.
And maybe I am a hater, but this is what I authentically believe. This is fool's gold. This isn't some great turnaround and comparing what Deion did to Carl Durrell or any of these other coaches that took over Colorado before you could just buy players, before you could just kick players off the team. This isn't the same rebuilding job. I was in Kansas at the time Bill Snyder took over a really horrible football program at Kansas State. And I watched the man take players that weren't his and turn them into great players. Turn them into guys that could win. I've seen other coaches take someone else's garbage and turn it into something respectable. That's not what Deion has done. So let's don't compare this to the turnarounds in the past. Let's don't compare this to don't even compare it to what Cignetti's doing, because again, and I know Indiana has bought some players, but he's having more success in a tougher conference than Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is in a conference that's down and is weak, and he's been able to rush out and dump all these players where other coaches had to actually go through the process of developing players they didn't recruit, replacing them with players they did recruit, and winning at the same time. This isn't some historic turnaround. Call me a hater, I'll plead guilty.
So he's went from I may be a hater till you might think I'm a hater to, okay, I'm a hater. Okay, just say that, man. Just keep it simple. You don't like the guy. You don't like his style. You don't like he's unconventional. That's the problem. There's always going to be somebody in this world. There's always going to be somebody who don't like something you do or don't do. They're going to always complain. Remember, I'll say it this way. There's a perfect person who never makes mistakes. And yet imperfect people keep looking up saying you made mistakes. Basically, okay? Basically. So if perfection is told that they making mistakes, come on, man. So Jason, you don't gotta like the guy. Listen, it helps with your ratings. It's probably one of the primary reasons why you talk about him a lot. Not just because it's something that you have a personal grievance against Coach Prime. Well, actually, one of my previous videos I did on you last year, because I've done a couple other videos on him. I said, listen, Jason, we're Christians, right? You're a professing Christian. Deion's a professing Christian. I'm a professing Christian. My problem with Jason is last year, in one of his videos, I tried to look it up. I didn't particularly find it, but I saw somebody else who did a commentary on it. He compared Coach Prime to Jim Jones, which was a 1970s cult leader who led a number of his followers to commit suicide by drink. And so that really lit a fire into me. I was like, okay, you going over the line, Jason. You don't like this guy that much that you basically have just said he is a murderer. That's over the line. No proof. That's over the line. How many of you have had somebody mislabel you? Or mislabel somebody you love, and you care about? Or, in this case, like me, I admire, I respect Coach Prime. And so I say, you know what? I'm enjoying this program. I'm watching to see. And I even told Jason, I said in one of my other videos, I said, if Jason's proven to be right, I'll come back on here and say he was right, which I know that's what he wants. But he goes over the line when he talks about Coach Prime. I don't know if he does that with other folks, but I definitely know he does here.
Is it nice what Deion's doing? Is it more than what I expected? Yes, it is at 5-2. It is more than what I expected. But every week when I watch these teams that Colorado's playing in the Big 12, I'm like, whew, Arizona's just not any good.
But keep this part in mind. From what I've heard some other analysts say, Jason he was one of those ones who didn't have Colorado doing good at all this year. So the fact that they're 5-2, now 6-2, yes, it is a shocker, and it also deflates Jason's bubble a little bit, or his the air in his bubble, because he ain't got a lot of talking material on Coach Prime when they're winning and when they're building out a program. Also, I do have a recommendation for Jason, real quick. I know I think it was earlier this year or late last year, Jason, you had a couple of players who are no longer on the Colorado Buffs team. You had on your program because they had some type of grievance against Coach Prime. Why don't you bring some players on there who do not have those grievances? Some guys who will be honest. Okay, I don't want you to be totally biased. Be honest. That'll talk, shed some light on what you don't know about Coach Prime or probably don't care to know. I don't know which one it is, but that's a suggestion for you. It's an unsolicited advice, okay?
Colorado State, not any good. They don't, UCF, not any good. College football is just different. And yes, there are now easier paths to a respectable record. That's what Deion is benefiting from. Great timing. Has he done some things better? Yes. Is his son at quarterback a really good player? Yes, he is. Do I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL? I'm not so sure. He holds the ball too long. I don't think he's got the right attitude. But Deion and the 3, 4, 5 wide receivers they have, those guys are good. And they went out this past Saturday. Something very subtle went on with them featuring LaJohntay Wester and not Travis Hunter. I think Deion thought he had an opportunity to sneak Shador back into the Heisman race. And he could sneak him back in by, hey, he doesn't need Travis Hunter to be effective, to have a great game. And they did that this past weekend. Travis played, but they, to me, leaned more into the Wester guy. I got so frustrated with the game. I'm just keeping it real. When Deion and those guys are playing well, it's hard for me to watch. So I didn't watch the second.
Right. It's hard for you to watch because you're rooting for them to lose. Just call it what it is. It's hard for you to watch because, yes, you have set yourself totally against them because they're unconventional. They're doing things the way you wouldn't do it. Now, I would say this to you, Jason, and to anybody else who think along these lines, but especially Jason, and from a Christian to a Christian. I don't know how the season's going to look for Coach Prime. Again, I'm not his apologist. But if God is involved, why don't you discern whether or not God is involved and then support it? If that's the case, rather than set yourself up against it. You have, from what I've heard, you have self-deprecated a few times about I'm not perfect and I got all these problems, whatever the case may be. All of that is unattractive, by the way. But why don't you find a way to be supportive? I mean, I don't know if your ratings are going to go up or stay at the level they are. Probably go down because a lot of people don't like positive news. People love negative news. But why don't you find a way to support them? Why don't you ask them the right questions and ask it directly to them? Why don't you see if you can actually have a conversation with them? And if Deion's as much of a threat or danger as you think he is, why not pray for the man? Why not you pray for his success? God open his eyes and show him. Pray for his kids. Oh, stop hating on him and his kids. His kids. If you are truly a child of God, God has great plans for you. So you're going to tell God, well, God, the way I've heard you talk, you probably would tell God, I don't deserve this. God ain't giving us nothing that we deserve. He's giving us stuff that he qualified us for, regardless of what anybody else thinks, including us. He's qualified us for, equipped us for, and prepared us for, and for us. So think outside your little box, man.
Can have with the kind of attention I did the first half. I gotta be honest. I'm that kind of frustrated because, again, I don't like Deion. I don't want Deion's style of coaching rewarded. What he did by booting all those.
Again, I did another video on that. He's going back saying that last year, when Deion took over the team, he booted out so many players. Coach Prime, excuse me, I apologize. Coach Prime explained what happened. Dan Patrick interviewed him and asked him some questions. Asked him, I believe, a question along that line, and I did a video on that. It makes it looks like Deion just kicked folks off the team, but there was more to the story. There's always more to the story, but if you're not interested in that, and if you already don't like the guy, and so therefore you think he's lying, you're not gonna believe him. You just won't. You're just gonna go along with your narrative because your narrative sounds like it makes more sense. It sounds more truthful. Jason needs to get a life, if I may say that. Jason needs to get a life.
those players off his team and treating them in the fashion he did, I just don't respect it. I don't respect all the rap music and the injection of hip hop culture into the locker room. And while you're claiming a relationship with Christianity and Jesus Christ, I just don't like it. I don't want to see it rewarded. But give him a little credit. If you like Fool's Gold, you'll love Deion and what he did. Final thing, I want to play this clip of Deion opened his press conference with his son Shiloh seated by him. This is more of what I just don't like. It's about Deion and his sons. It's not about the team. Shiloh had.
So let me say this real quick before he shows that clip about Deion and his son. Jason, for those who follow him, and I've read a lot of comments about him. Jason, his show's about him, right? Okay. He constantly interjects and says, "This is what I think. I don't like this. This is my opinion." That's his own show. It's an opinion-based show. You can be as wrong as you're gonna be, as you want to be, but it's your show. Ask the players, the people who are actually in the locker room. You can ask those who have left, because he has some more leave. Some more left Colorado. And you can ask some of the current players. Matter of fact, ask the parents. What do they think about Deion's? I mean, if you were really a journalist and you want to have, you need some support behind your claims, because these are deep-seated claims. I don't know what happened with him and Coach Prime. I don't know, something happened back in the day, years ago. Whatever the case may be, but different doesn't always, just like different doesn't always mean good. Different doesn't bad doesn't always. Just because different doesn't always mean bad. Difference also doesn't always mean good. I think I said that the way I was trying to say it. But anyway, good things happen. If we achieve the exact same goal or reach the exact same destination using different methods and means without violating any laws, we're good. I just may have found a better way, or you may just have found a better or quicker way.
Had an okay game, certainly better than the week before when he played like trash. He opened the game with a blitz and caused a sack or caused a bad play early in the game. But here's Deion and Shiloh at the beginning of Deion's post-game press conference.
Shiloh, go ahead.
I'm just here to just say that God is going to test you, and God tested me last week just to see how to respond. You know what I'm saying? Everybody goes through ups and downs, and it's better for me that I went through the down. It made me lock in more, made me watch all my film, just watching film and seeing what I did wrong and critiquing myself the most. I was calling my dad like once a day after practice, just talking about the day, how I'm feeling, how I'm seeing things.
His depth to play from, all it was
everything.
Football.
But you just gotta.
He needed that.
That just made me lock in and be like, all right, I'm the free safety. Everything should be in front of me, and I gotta put the ziplock on the defense.
As team just won, Deion starts out his press conference on a personal note with his son Shiloh. He thinks hey, this is a great message to a young kid. It's always about Deion and his sons. There's a bunch of other kids on that roster. Every kid in football, the game's going to humble you. That's a universal deal.
But everybody doesn't see it that way. And everybody doesn't have this type of experience. And everybody's father's not the coach, and every player's not the coach's sons. What's vile about that? Jason, you have no kids, from what I understand. You have no kids. So you do not understand. And again, interview the kids who are on the team right now. Go ahead. Interview the kids that were not on the team, that are no longer on the team, and interview some of the kids that are on the team, if they will accept your invitation. But being in a place or in a position where you can spew all your personal opinions, fact-based or not, and just put it all out there, because hey, who's gonna hold you accountable? You're gonna have a few keyboard warriors tell you how crazy you are. I ain't a keyboard warrior. I'm addressing it. I'm saying what I am. I say this to your face. If we had a chance to sit down like grown men, I tell you, I say, yeah, I think you're wrong. Everything I'm saying right here, I would say it to your face. Respectfully, I'm not being disrespectful now, so why would I be disrespectful to your face? So, anyway, let me go ahead and Jason say what else you want to say.
Showcasing your son after he has an okay game, after having a bad game, and then putting him out there. God's going to tell you.
You know what? I would rather him say God is testing him than he gets up here and use a bunch of expletives. And a lot of players Christian players never give God any public acknowledgement. I would rather this language, this type of interview, type of interview, or type of press conference, than a lot of the other ones I've seen. Why not?
It's fool's gold. Steve, am I over the top here denigrating Deion's amazing 5-2 record?
I'm going to cut it there. I mean, we had 25 minutes. I ain't planning to go this long in this video, but y'all pretty much get the gist. You can watch the rest of his program if you like. But all I'm saying is this. Jason Whitlock, in my opinion, has gone over the top when it comes to Coach Prime. A number of other people I do know don't like Jason. And Jason does have a track record of talking down to a lot of blacks in the industry. Now, is he right to some degree that the industry itself is corrupt and a lot of black people are being used? I believe that, yes. You hear more about P. Diddy. There are other celebrities that are connected to P. Diddy and et cetera. But not in this case. I think he's off the mark. We'll see. Time has already proven him wrong so far, overall. But let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, comment, share. I appreciate you. I love you. And God loves you too. See you on the next one.